Okay, let's talk about this optics section over here. This optics section, you know already about the optical center, which is kind of where everything points in things that are not symmetrical. And then there's this optical scale, which is kind of like if you put a lens that was built for a certain size sensor on a different size sensor. So in other words, the lens and the sensor don't match. So the optics are one size and the lens is another. And if you put them in, if you push these in different directions, you get sort of different effects. And this will be more pronounced when we do some things that are not quite as symmetrical. Like for instance, let's put this back to 0. Here's astigmatism. When you push it this way, you see these little bright edges that the bokeh circles get towards the outside. Let's push it a little harder. Our bokeh circle's a little smaller. See these nice little bright edges? That's a nice effect. And you can do that on the other side too, so the edges are on the other side. And if you change the optical scale here, you get these different sort of stretching effects. And I think that's even more pronounced when we have our rack focus and maybe a larger blur. Yeah. See, we get these different sorts of issues that one might get with a wrong lens. This dimple depth is basically, let's turn off astigmatism so we can see it alone. The dimple depth is basically, poking a hole in the bokeh. So this is, not particularly realistic. And there's this dimple curve, which is how hard they fall off from the center outward. But these look good when they're combined with other things. Like, for instance, let's add some astigmatism and a little dimple depth with this sort of curve here. See, that's a nice effect. Let's see if we change our optical scale. So you get some nice effects with that. And all of this optical scale stuff and all of these optical things interact with the other effects. Like, for instance, let's turn cat's eye on. So you can see these nice shapes we're getting. Let's make a bigger bokeh. Yeah, very nice effect. And last but not least, let's turn off the fall off, and let's also turn off the cat's eye. Last but not least, there's this edge width. Let's actually kind of neutralize everything. There's, again, everything's kind of soft in this particular situation, but here we can make the edges of the bokeh sharper or softer, and we can change how they fall off at the edge with this edge fall off curve. When you have sharper lights, you'll see this effect more clearly, but you can get a pretty good idea of what's going on here. Okay, that's the optics center section.